threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Every member of the family. That lady's kind of pushy.
I picked that up too.
Every
I don't
member.
know why.
Cameron, it's really good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
I appreciate you coming in the studio today. I know you're a busy man.
Welcome to 2023.
Wow. We
We made it through.
Another new year. Your two favorite hosts back at it doing their thing. Right?
Gonna be a good year.
Oh, hell yeah. You're going to get prepared. You ain't going to be scared.
Stuff's gonna happen.
Gosh. But Cam, since it is the beginning of the year, what did we decide to talk about today on this episode?
Well, why not start? Everybody's got a New Year's resolution, right?
Not everybody.
They should.
Some people do.
They should.
Yeah.
A lot of times those involve goals.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
We figured, why don't we just talk about setting up some goals and how to do it and how to make them efficient and, related mostly to prepping. But
Yeah, exactly.
in general, just goals. It's hard to follow through with them sometimes.
Dude.
Like, I set a lot, and I'm like, never look at them again after I set them.
Exactly.
So,
we're going to talk about lots of good stuff when it comes to goals, prepper goals, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So before we get going with that, I got to tell you about a goal you should have in your brain right now, and that is to get a subscription box from BattleBox. It is the monthly subscription box for men, full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here is a sampling of what users received this month. The HD Ratchet tie-down set, you get a 2-pack. You get a whole bunch of cool, you can never have enough tie-downs and ratchets.
I'm always looking for one.
Always. Like right now, where's my ratchet? I don't have one.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we got the Yuko Classic Series Original Candle Lantern.
That is a good one.
That's rad. All this badassness starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped over 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2020. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free knife at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
Fun show.
Oh, it's fun.
This is such a fun show. Well done.
Yeah, that's like right to the point.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I like that one
5
too.
stars. That came from Sid the Frog.
Oh, I know Sid the Frog.
Do you?
No, I don't.
Oh, sounds like a good dude.
Yeah. I remember him on Sesame Street.
I love
He's
it.
pretty fun.
I love me a good amphibian. Is that what a frog is? Yeah,
Sid the
amphibian.
Frog.
Sid the Frog. So yeah, it sounds like some sort of Sesame Street type thing, doesn't it?
It does.
If you guys
Sid
want
the
to be
Frog's going to read a book to you today.
Sid the Frog's counting to 10. Here we go.
Ribbit.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Ribbit.
A bunch of ribbits. If you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, leave us a 5-star review, and make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
Well,
It's a mad, mad world.
the world is mad, and it continues to get madder as we go. I keep thinking we're gonna run out of stuff to talk about on Mad Mad World. I'm always wrong.
You're always wrong.
Because there's always stuff. A powerful storm hits California as residents brace for more flooding. After several damaging storms swept through California in recent weeks, Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency amid another deluge. A powerful winter storm, the latest in a series of atmospheric rivers. That's a thing, apparently. Atmospheric rivers.
Up there.
In the atmosphere, it's a river.
Water goes up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Roared across California on Wednesday, battering the coast, inundating city streets, toppling trees, and burying the mountains in snowfall, even as the nation's most populous state reeled from a similar drenching only days before. The storm, which intensified from pre-dawn showers to heavy rain, high winds, and in some places flash flood warnings, sent Californians from Northern California coast to Santa Barbara scrambling for shelter and left hundreds of thousands without power. Guys, I mean, it happens every year. It happens every month. It happens every damn day. It's happening all the time. So you just got to
never know.
You just got to be ready.
Is it going to happen? Yes, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Put it on your calendar.
Man, this holiday, I've never shoveled more snow.
Yeah, and it wasn't Utah snow.
No, it was heavy, wet.
It was heavy, wet,
nasty
disgusting,
trash.
like East Coast garbage snow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was sucky. And
Like
I'm sick of it already.
It might sound weird, but we're really used to like the driest, powderiest, fluffiest snow.
Like you could probably use a leaf blower most of the time.
You could. And like now it's like, nah. You gotta
You
get
ain't moving me, bruh.
That's what the snow says. Hey, bruh, good luck.
Drive over me to see what happens.
You're gonna turn into ice.
Then your neighbors are going to be disappointed.
All my neighbors are so disappointed.
Yeah. Look at that guy. He doesn't get out ever.
Driving over his eyes, idiot.
And there's been like a lot of times I'm out shoveling and like my neighbor, it's like his wife or something. I'm like, I should probably.
I know.
I'm like, I slowly make my way over there.
How's that going over there, lady?
Yeah, but man, it's been a lot of shoveling. I hate it.
Yeah, it sucks.
And speaking of snow, the blizzard death toll on the east in Buffalo and that area, 42.
Jeez.
Officials say, and the number is expected to rise.
Wow.
So the number of deaths attributed to the December blizzard now stands at 42, and the number may still grow days after the storm and post-storm dig-out has ended. The Erie County Medical Examiner's Office reported 2 more Erie County deaths on Tuesday. So, look, I don't want to be in any way insensitive to this.
Right.
Because what a nightmare. Like, looking at the pictures and what it's like, and I mean, it looks horrible. And I've never gone through a blizzard like that, and I never want to.
No.
But at the same time, the deaths, man, I just feel like a lot of them were preventable.
Well, most of them
They were. So
are preventable.
So far, of Erie County deaths, 17 were found outside. They just went out into the blizzard. A lot of them, and I'd read, they just went to the store to get some stuff, and they died. They like collapsed in the snow and died.
Oh my god!
So like, what are you thinking? 11 were in homes. They're just trapped in their homes. A home that should be your bug out location.
Yeah.
That have preparation. I understand. There's probably people that don't have money,
like
and
older folks
that are struggling, and that's
Yes.
different. But at the same time, like that's your like family responsibility to like watch out for these people. 4 were found in their cars, dead. 4 heart-related deaths were due to shoveling and snowblowing. I was almost there. So I understand.
That could also maybe be preventable, maybe not.
True. In
Maybe
a way, yep.
not.
3 were from delayed emergency medical responses. Obviously, they can't get there.
That's tough.
And 2 died from storm-related injuries.
Wow.
I don't know why it said that because all the other ones were too. But like, so Niagara County Sheriff's Office reported that Timothy Murphy, 27, died after snow covered a furnace and sent carbon monoxide into his Lockport home. Just like,
wow,
like freaky things. But like, if you're, and like I said, I don't want to be insensitive that they didn't prepare. You know, these are accidents, but a lot of them were preventable.
Well, I think it's the exact reason why we do Mad World is to like remind people, like, hey, get ready for
modern
this stuff.
times. Like
it happens.
Hurricanes
right?
coming and people die from flooding. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't try to like think about what are the possibilities, what are the things that could put me at risk, and they die. So
like a CO2 alarm. It saves lives.
Like there's a lot of little things to learn from this, and it's just kind of sad to see that many people died when it was a storm that they knew was coming. And I don't know, it's just crazy to me. But mad world,
it is mad world. All right, guys, let's get into the podcast today. We're talking about goals. We're talking about prepper goals. There's going to be a lot of sort of like process involved in what we're talking about today, because I really feel like to be successful with goal setting, you've got to do it right.
You do.
Otherwise,
you really do.
It just becomes something that you did on January 1st.
It's a grocery list or something.
Yes, and you forgot about it.
Yeah, you
forgot about it. So usually Cam and I like to do some sort of like a New Year's resolution type episode or something like that, or like beginner episode. But we decided, we've been personally having discussions between Cam and I about like, how do you set goals? How do you set resolutions? How do you track those goals and things like that? We've been going back and forth over the past few weeks.
How do you do it? How do you like? It's good to bounce it off each other to figure out what ways work.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really good thing to do. And so we decided, hey, we've been having this conversation. Why don't we just transfer this over to the podcast and say, hey, as preppers, as people that are trying to become more prepared, how do you set goals? Because, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of aspects to preparedness, and getting them all covered is a super hard job.
It is.
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. And
it goes without saying.
It goes without saying. Prepping requires forethought. But I mean, goal setting, it's super important if you really want to make good progress in your preparedness journey. A lot of this stuff we're going to talk about, it translates outside of preparedness.
Exactly.
Right. And so we
Goals
all want
are
to be
goals.
Goals are goals. We want to be better people all around. So we wanted to talk about that today. We want to talk about setting your goals, keeping your goals, tracking your goals, maybe even what types of goals we should be setting as preppers to become more prepared throughout the year. So that's kind of the discussion we're going to have today. And we're excited about it.
Yeah, no, we are. Like, I always do have really good intentions to set goals. And this episode is as much for me, you know.
For sure.
Because I'm like you said, we were talking about it. We wanted to get our own goals going. And I'm like, I got to figure out a way to set these goals that I'm going to follow through and like be able to see results. Or if I'm not, like, how do I keep going? So,
it's like a bit of a science too, and it is, and it's a bit of a thing that you've got to find what works for you.
Right.
Because we're going to give you a bunch of options. You
Exactly.
can't do them all, and
Exactly.
you just kind of have to like play with them, right?
play with it. Go home, struggle with it.
Go home and struggle with it.
But
That's right.
but yeah, it's been a thing that I've done, and I've done good at some, and then others, you know, you get too general. You're just like, goal, prepare home for food with food and water.
Go
but you
be
don't
a better person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And my family does. We sat down this week and wrote goals, but I was like, this year, like I didn't fill out the thing because I was like, I really need to think about it and I need to plan, and that's what I wanted to talk about is like you can't just jump in and just write it down. Like you need to think through. And so talking about planning and development of goals, I'm going to read a little quote to you, okay? Our goals can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. There is no other route to success. Pablo Picasso.
Oh, Picasso.
He's a Pablo Picasso. So
Like that.
I'm very much the type of person that's kind of a fly by the seat of my pants type of, you know, I'm like, I'm going to set goals, but I do things like in the moment, and I don't sit down and think about like, how am I going to achieve this, or what way am I going to approach this to make it work the best for me? And that's huge with goals. Like you have to have a very clear cut, direct plan. And so planning is massive with goals. Otherwise, you're not going to get them done. They're not going to be efficient. You're not going to follow through with them. And so how do you get started with that? A lot of times we just jump into taking action. You know, I'm going to work out, and I just jump into it. And it's like, I'm going to start running. And I get tired and it's hard. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have anything to like keep me going because I don't have this goal set of like, what am I trying to achieve? What am I trying to like, how am I trying to outdo myself and like try and figure out how to like set these different,
it's like
along the way. It's like, okay, I want to exercise and do better, but do I have a plan to do that? Do I have like a direct way I can monitor my progress?
And also like, why? Why do you
Exactly.
want it? Like,
Why?
what is the purpose behind it? Because if there's like no purpose, it's just like, I'm going to run because everybody said you should run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, why do I want to do that? Oh,
I know having better health is good.
Yeah, but why? Oh, I have kids. Maybe I want to live longer for them, or maybe I don't want to be, you know, there's so many, but you have to like put that why behind those to really make it stick, because otherwise it's just like, all right,
Exactly.
I'm going to read 10 books.
Yeah. Everybody sets goals. I'm setting goals.
I got goals too, see? You know, it's like, no, you have to have
something
a
you
reason.
do. It's like you get that gym pass, but you never go to the gym.
Never go to the gym.
It's like, man, it sounds great.
Yeah.
So personal goal setting will help you identify your needs and provide a path to turning your weaknesses into strengths. Prioritize your resources, which is huge with prepping. The most precious of which is your time. That to me is like my biggest thing.
Cam's a time whore.
I am a time whore, and but setting goals helps you organize your time better so that you're more efficient with your time, and that's a big deal. Stay motivated so that you follow through and complete your objective. Improve your overall preparedness for whatever life throws at you, which is like a huge thing for us as preppers, right?
Yeah.
And then personal goal setting. We should try and do this by like writing down your goals and writing out a really detailed plan. And we're going to go into that further later. But a good start to like planning your goals and sitting down and starting is thinking about what you did last year.
Yeah.
Did you set goals? Why did you set those goals? Why did you not set those goals?
Yeah.
What were the issues that led you to not follow through and not complete them? Was it that you were distracted, that you never looked at them on a daily basis, that you didn't have something to remind you of those goals. You've got to like look at all the reasons that you didn't get done what you wanted to get done.
Yeah, because if you, again, like if you just continue the same way you did last year and you weren't satisfied with how it turned out, you're only going to have the same outcome.
You're going to go right back into it.
You're going to do the exact same thing.
You might as well pull that sheet out and put it back in the drawer.
Because you can think like, oh, I'm super motivated right now. Everybody's motivated.
Yeah, we are.
The first week
like,
of January.
This is it.
Yeah. Everybody's motivated this week. Yeah. That shit goes downhill quick.
Go look at the gym.
Yeah.
And then go look at it in February.
It's a
March.
madhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but you got to think about these details of what led you to fall away from your goals the first time, or why weren't you as efficient with them? And so you really need to do this detailed planning and prepare your goals with all these details. And so, for example, I always like the benchmarking.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can monitor your progress or understand what you're trying to do if you don't benchmark yourself. If you don't know where you're at, and you can't see the progress that you make. So, there was an article by Nutrient Survival that I think you had a link to it, and I thought it was really good. 12 months of prepping, get organized. So this is from Nutrient Survival, and they said you need to inventory your supplies. We talk about that all the time, and that's something that I have started to work on, but I'm nowhere near where I'd like to be. So it's like, if I want to prepare food for my family for 30 days, do I even know how many calories I have? I want to prepare 7 days of water? Do I even know where I'm at with that?
Yeah.
How many, how much water does each of my family members need? And so you have to find out where you're at with those things before you even make goals to make yourself better. This allows you to know where you're at, what your needs are, the directions you want or need to take to become more prepared. And then you have to sit down, benchmark yourself, come up with a good plan of what your goals mean to you and where you want to go with them. And there's ways to set up these goals that Kobe is going to go into detail. And I actually have never used this, so I thought I'm like, I don't know why I haven't ever looked into using
the SMART goal,
setting up a goal this way.
Yeah, so a lot of people, especially in business, they always come back to using SMART goals, and I've used this at my day job too. It's something that it really does help. Some of these I don't agree with as much as I do with others. So using SMART goals on
certain goals or what?
On certain aspects of SMART.
Gotcha.
So SMART it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. And there's a few aspects of this that I think are so important that people don't do sometimes. And so when you're setting your goal, number one in SMART is specific. So it needs to be well-defined. It needs to be clear and unambiguous.
That's such a huge, that's obviously why that one's number one.
Yes. Because if you aren't specific on what your goal is, how do you ever know if you've actually achieved it?
Yeah.
Or not achieved it?
It's like you were saying. I want to have better health.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
Like you're eating better, you're losing weight, you're gaining muscle, your cardio's going to be better.
And when you translate to that something maybe as a prepper, you could say, I want to be ready for disaster.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, okay, but there's so many levels to that. There's so many different things that you've got to be more specific. So instead of saying I want to be ready for disaster, you could say, I will have a finished emergency plan and bug out bags for my entire family by the end of the year.
You really do have to have that time.
So look, now when you go back at the end of the year, it's very easy to tell, did I get that emergency plan? Did I get those bug out bags? Did I do it by the end of the year?
Mm-hmm.
So specific. And so just be thinking about that. Don't be ambiguous, because sometimes when you're doing it, you're like, I'll just be ambiguous, and then I can say yes or no. You know what I mean?
Like I can fit whatever I want into that.
Exactly.
And then you don't do it.
And you don't. So then when you go to the M in SMART is measurable. So this has to have specific criteria that you measure your progress towards the accomplishment of your goal. So
I think that's the one I leave out the most.
The measurable side of it.
I'm pretty specific with what I want done, but I don't have a way to measure that.
Yeah.
Or it's like,
yeah, that's something that as a supervisor in my position, that I have to constantly think about when I'm setting goals for my team, and also when my team is setting goals. I'm like, okay, but how do we measure that? Like, I know that's what you want to do, but we have to make it in some way that at the end of the year or a quarter, through the quarter or the second quarter, I can measure this somehow. There's no way to know. So like the above goal, I think is pretty measurable, right? You can get the emergency plan, you can get the bug out bags for each. So you can go along the year and say, I got one bug out bag. You can measure it throughout the year. So make sure that it's measurable. Achievable is the A, and that means it's attainable and it's not impossible to achieve. This one,
I do that the opposite way.
do you?
I'm like, I'll probably get it done tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then my goal's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
There's some of those you don't make yourself, you don't, what's the word?
So
stretch out.
Yeah. So it's not like I want to walk one day in a row.
You need to strain yourself a little bit, make it worth your time.
So it's achievable, and the next one is realistic. And both of these kind of work hand in hand, right? Sometimes I feel like realistic, I think it limits people a little bit. They want to make it too easy.
That's what
So that's
what
why.
I do. That's what I do.
That's why these ones to me, like, I get that, but I feel like you need to push yourself. So don't think that it shouldn't be hard, because it needs to be hard. And sometimes it should feel like it's almost out of reach, for me anyways, because I feel like when you do that, like, you will surprise yourself, right? So achievable and realistic. And the last one, which I do think, again, is one of the most important. So I really think that specific...
Another one that I don't do
well. Specific and measurable are my first two most important, and the last one is timely. With a clear, defined timeline.
You have to do that.
You have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could just say, my goal is to have a finalized emergency, but you never actually say when.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm 100% a procrastinator.
Yeah. And you will continue to procrastinate.
Like, in some ways, I do better when I like, I'm not saying you should procrastinate, but the procrastination. And
yeah.
There's a new word for you this year.
Procrastinate.
But like procrastinating, I always do stuff like in crunch, it's like, but at least there's a date there. And so with goals, I don't do it.
Yeah.
Without a time frame, I'm
it's just not going to get done.
Yes, you procrastinate forever. So
So make sure that your goal has a timeline. Like you've got to create a sense of urgency, like I got to have it done, or I didn't do it, or I didn't achieve my goal. So think about SMART goals. It's a really great way to look at when you're making your preparedness goals, or really any goals, to just consider those categories as you're building your plan. And so then there are several other categories of goals you can look at in preparedness and in life, obviously. I'm trying to bring this back to preparedness because that's what we talk about mostly here. But so we got the short, the medium, and the long-term goals, right? So some of these may not make sense to do like as a New Year's resolution. Some of these might just be like a 5-year plan or 10-year plan goal. When we look at short-term, this is something that you can do basically without much planning, without much preparation, and you can just like start today and get it done. Like an example for a prepper might be, I'm going to start carrying a knife with me every day, starting now. That's a short-term goal. Like you could just put the freaking knife in your pocket and go about your day, right? Or it's like, I'm not going to let my fuel tank get under half. That could be tomorrow or the next day, but it's short-term. You can start it now, and it really doesn't take much planning other than just like following through with it, right? Then you can go to the medium term. This is something that might take a little bit of research. It might take a little bit of planning. It might take a little bit of time to finish it up. This could be something similar, like my goal is to purchase a dual fuel generator, right? Obviously, this could be short term as well, but most people need to plan for that.
Yeah.
They need to look into the future, and they need to save some money. They need to do their research to figure out what it is. Or it could be something like I had this one last year. I want to become a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and I want to better my self-defense and my health overall. But it was kind of like a medium-term goal that I set over a 2-year period, right? And so those are just a category to look at. And the last one is long-term. This is going to be more complex. It's going to take more time. It's going to require extensive research, and maybe have like a bunch of milestones along the way to get there.
I think the long-term, they're tough for me because I'm like, I want to do this over a time frame, and I don't do any of it until the end of that time frame. And I'm like, what happened?
It's
one that has to be you have to follow up on it regularly to keep it going.
Exactly. And so this examples, it was hard to think of these types of examples, but one could be like, I want to build up a 1-year prepper supply of food, but I'm going to do it over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Right?
So, man, you have to detail that plan out.
Yes, you really have to detail that plan. You really have to check those milestones along the way, and you have to research what food am I going to buy, what do I need, how many calories. So that is definitely like a long-term goal. Or it could be something like, I want to become like this top-tier bushcrafter.
Yeah.
I want to have all these skills, but to do that, you can't just take a YouTube video course and call yourself a bushcrafter.
Can't read a book and call yourself a bushcrafter.
No, it takes time in the field. It takes time figuring stuff out. So it's gonna be like a 5 to 10 year plan.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of like long-term goals. So when you're setting your goals, think about those 3 categories: short-term, long-term, medium-term, and then also think about making those SMART goals.
Yeah.
All right.
And that, man, it's super helpful.
Yes.
A really good goal for everybody is preparing yourself. My gosh, man. I thought this year's going to be different. It's not going to be.
Starting off great.
I got procrastinator and prepper. The cybercrime is becoming more and more prevalent, and it's a scary deal.
It sure is.
We're digital people, you know? We live in a digital world, and I'm a digital boy.
I'm a digital girl. Yeah.
So, but constantly we're on our phones, we're using tablets, we're using laptops. Often we're traveling, we're connecting to exposed Wi-Fi signals and things like that. All of our information is susceptible, but you can definitely protect yourself easily by getting a virtual private network from Surfshark. Basically let you go online, gray man, no one can track you down. They can't follow your IP address. They can't, and if they even have services to where if you get spam emails or if your email is compromised, they will notify you.
Well, what if I get like the spam newsletter, like from Spam Meets? Will they block that?
I don't think they'll block it.
Okay, great.
I don't know. I haven't had issues with them blocking
I just
stuff
get recipes.
that I feel like is kind.
I get recipes and things.
Good. You might be careful and check if you really want that to come into your inbox.
Do you think spam has that issue?
I don't know.
Does this send our spam newsletter to your
We
spam
can't
folder?
friggin' like we
Can't
can
get
never
past.
promote our spam.
It's ridiculous.
It's knocked out of the So the thing I really like about Surfshark is one subscription will cover all your devices.
Hell yeah.
It's so awesome. Even they have an integrated. I have a Chrome plugin, so I don't even have to run the program.
Yeah.
I like the program better, but you can just put it in your browser. Most people use Chrome browser, so it's nice because it just automatically connects and everything. So you don't have to worry about it, and you're protected. It's great. One subscription will cover all your devices, no matter the operating system. Fast, unlimited access. You can connect to different servers in different places of the world. You choose your server, which is awesome. If you don't even know how any of this works, you just want to try it out for 30 days. They will let you do that.
Yeah, they're nice like
Go to
that.
surfshark.deal/casualpreppers. Try it for 30 days. I've used my own money to buy this, and it only costs $60, and it will get you, with our code, 27 months, man. I don't even know if the world's going to last
That's a
that long.
long-term goal right there.
Yeah, that is a long-term goal.
I just want to live 27 months.
And, man, they've been awesome. I've reached out to them for customer service, and they're excellent. So this is the best one. You're not going to find a better one.
No.
I'm telling you, you're not going to find a better deal. $60 for 27 months? No way you're going to find that. So stop screwing around. Go get it.
Yeah.
So useful preparedness goals to consider. So when you're, I mean, that's what we do. We talk about preparedness, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the goals that you could think about doing this year. Number one, like I said before, you really need to benchmark yourself and kind of see where you're at, what kind of, how much food you have, how much water, and what is your ultimate goal? Like, how much do you want? How many family members, and how long do you want it for?
How many family members do you want to keep around?
How many family members do you want to make?
Yeah, or get new ones. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I need to sit down and do that I think is a really good idea is just like look at what you go to town for every week. What are you buying weekly? What is your common grocery list? Like,
go to town.
Most people buy the same crap. I know. My parents said it, and I still say it today.
Yeah, I
We're
say
going
the same
into
thing.
town.
I say the same thing.
And you
too.
basically live in town.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
But yeah, like break it down to what, like look at the things that you most commonly buy, and those are your like short-term, medium-term supplies that you're going to want to stock up on.
Coke, macaroni, chips.
And that's it.
That's it. All done.
Emergency water storage, number one.
Oh gosh, yeah.
7 days is probably one of the best, like small, like short, even maybe medium-term goal for your family. 7 days for you and your family is very doable, and it's a goal you can achieve, and it's huge. Like,
oh my gosh,
you've got to have water, and 7 days is probably on average what most disasters are going to last. That you're on, like maybe you can't go get water, or your water supply is disrupted.
It's going to get you through 95% of disasters.
I agree. Yeah, I think so. So, gallon per person per day, 5 people, 35 gallons of water a week. So that's doable, and storage, even with limited storage space, that's still doable.
Oh yeah, I have limited storage space, and I have way more than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's a good goal, and I think it should be one of the number one goals if you don't have it.
I like
number
it.
2, food storage. We did an episode on this. 30 days of food is definitely doable and not super stressful.
No.
Not a goal that's like, oh, this is really hard and it's going to take me forever. So working on this, it does take up space, but not as much as water is going to take up. So, and I suggest you go back and listen to that, either the episode that talks about things you can work on as a prepper each day for 30 days, or building your 30-day supply. We did that like 2 or 3 months ago.
I don't know.
It's a good one.
It's all a jumble of podcasts to me.
So that's where I think what would help you to look at like your grocery list now and what you're buying most often, to build your 30-day off from that type of food.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, that 30 days probably ends up being more like 45 or 60 when you think about
what you eat, how much you buy, and how much you waste.
Most disasters don't just like, suddenly I have no way to get food.
Exactly.
Usually it's sort of like a decline of a few days or something. And then, so your food can really... It can get stretched.
Right. And we've talked about like when a disaster happens, if this is all stored away and ready to go, like go and top off so that you're using like the new things you bought, then you have this as backup. Shelf, and we've talked about this before. It's easy. It's easy. I mean, it's expensive, but easy to just go, I'm going to go buy 5 to 25 years shelf or stored food. Because, I mean, it's all prepared nicely in a bin or like a 5-gallon bucket, and you don't have to touch it or use it.
It's so nice.
But it's the last thing you're going to want to get into.
It is. I feel like everyone should have some of that.
No, because, and that's the easier thing to do. But.
Yeah. So like I think it's a great place to start. Like you say, you just don't want to think about it. You don't want to try and work out this rotation schedule. Okay, I'm just going to go get a week's worth of nutrient survival.
It's the fastest thing you can do.
Boom, you're done.
Right.
It's fantastic. I love it.
And so, but the harder, like the goal that you're really going to have to like push yourself is to try and get the shelf stable common food that all you like your family eats, and that's frozen goods, canned goods, shelf stable foods, things that you can prepare that aren't going to last very long, but it's what tastes best.
Yeah, when it's what you would.
It's just what you're used to, and so setting that 30 days of food, whichever way, but try to work on the shelf, like the stuff you commonly eat, but remember, it's easy to get that.
Yep.
And you're going to use it, the long-term storage stuff.
Yep.
One big thing and the most common thing that I worry about, and for some reason it's like the thing I'm most fascinated with emergencies, is like living without electricity.
Yeah,
it's like, because it would suck, man. I go camping, that's the thing that I realize the most. I'm like, man, I'm super dependent on the power grid.
Yeah.
So spending time and setting a goal to prepare for a power outage is a big deal. Like it would be one of the things to make you the most comfortable as well. And I think that's one of the things that's costing the lives of people in these storms is like not preparing for power outages. They don't realize the complications that come from that, the heating, the medical supplies that they're maybe dependent on, travel, communication, all that stuff.
Cooking, yeah.
So maybe setting a goal that you want to replace your power with a dual fuel generator, like you said. Shoot for something with like 4,000 watts and work on it over the next 6 months of saving money and researching and finding the best one that fits you.
Or it could be something as simple as one of those little battery backups, like a BioLite or a Rock Pals type thing. Because that's just it's a great like medium step up to that
most power outages are going to last, like, you're going to have
6 to
enough
8
power
hours
to
or
give
something.
you exactly.
Yeah.
And so, for comfort, for entertainment, for whatever you use it for cooking, so that it's super useful to have a plan, setting goals for a blackout. And then candles and lighting and stuff like that goes into there too. First aid, another big problem that people don't spend enough time thinking about is the lack of medical care. Either they don't stock up on the supplies that they need, and they're either sold out or they can't get them, and they need ibuprofen. Simple stuff like that.
There's so many issues right now.
Yeah,
with
big
that,
time.
with that like children's ibuprofen stuff.
Oh man, the antibiotics was huge. It's gotten a little bit better, but
we've got some family members down on the Wasatch Front who called us, and Ashley's mom was like, "Hey, we've got like our kids are going in to get a surgery or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, and we're gonna need this, but we cannot find it anywhere out here." She seriously had to buy some and ship it to them.
Yeah,
because they couldn't find any. It's just insane.
Yeah. So being prepared for this, like first aid supplies, stuff that's readily available to most of us nowadays, like you need to have a plan and a goal to like stock up on those things and keep them in a place that you're not going to use them. Like
that's
my kids burn through Band-Aids and
dude, I can't keep enough Band-Aids in my house.
I can't.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
So
I need to get like a Band-Aid subscription box. It's the only way to keep up with it.
It's a great idea.
Maybe that's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Copyrighted.
Yeah.
Trademarked.
That is a good idea. But the other thing that goes along with first aid is people need to make a goal of like learning the warning signs of sickness and when they need to seek medical help. Get equipment to test vitals. Like this is something that everybody can learn. I know it's a hard thing to do because we have urgent cares and we have clinics, and most of the time you can get in within a day or two, but that might not always be there.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to learn how to assess a family member and know when they need to go to the hospital.
It's pretty easy. I just text Cam.
Exactly.
Is my kid dying?
Yeah, just find a provider and find their number.
Here's a picture of her. She dead or not?
She dead.
Oh crap! Knew it.
The other thing is learn the medications that you're taking and why you're taking them and what replacements are available to you just in case there's a shortage or you run out and you need to find something to make up the difference. Maybe it's a natural food or something like that. So, and that like if you're dependent on the medical world, like you have medical devices, CPAP or oxygen supply, you've got to have a really detailed plan. And I think that should be a huge goal for you this year if that's part of your life. If you're a diabetic, obviously you got to have a really detailed plan. And if you don't, that should be one of the primary goals that you should make. And this is a simple goal that everybody should do. Get a health checkup. Like, get some blood drawn. Check out things. I know. And it's hard. And it's like, you don't want to pay for it. You don't want to take the time. You don't want to make an appointment.
I feel like I get instant anxiety just thinking about it.
And most people do.
I just don't like it.
Most people do. But the last thing you want is some medical issue to pop up that you could have prevented and or knew about. So,
I'll just have you come look. Make sure everything looks like it's working.
Is my rectum supposed to be coming out my butthole?
It is normal. I'm growing an extra toe.
I took it back up in. It's okay.
I just pushed it in. Sneezed, came right back out. Crap.
Sanitation and hygiene. So have a good plan to prepare for that. How often do you use that last like little bit of deodorant? You're like, I gotta buy this today. Honey, will you pick this up? You don't want to be in that situation.
No.
You want to be stinking up the house or having, hygiene's a big deal.
It is.
Evacuation plan. That's a really good one to have a goal to go over the details with your family, to have it written out, to have it known or either in the backpack of your kids so that all of this is understood by all of you. That's one thing I need to do better is like have my kids understand clearly what our goal is.
I need to do it again too.
Evacuation.
I feel like even if I do it
so
once
emergency
or twice
preparedness plan every year, that needs to be a goal.
100%.
Physical fitness, talked a little bit about that. Like maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to gain more muscle. Maybe you want to be more efficient with self-defense. better with self-defense.
Yes, to
you've got
all.
to set these. You got to set these detailed goals
Yeah.
to get there instead of just saying I'm going to work out more.
I know, like it just doesn't work.
It doesn't.
I-
I've done it for the last
Yeah.
15 years.
I've set some like very specific goals for me because I keep getting these little nagging injuries at jiu-jitsu, and I know and I know it's because like I just
talking about that,
I
huh?
don't strength train enough. So like I'm gonna do like my thing is I have to do at least one kettlebell workout a week, like full body, just because I just need to get a little more.
What about Kegels?
Yeah, I do that. I'm doing them right now, to be honest with you. So yeah, but just be really specific with it. Otherwise, again, it just
Physical
goes
fitness
bye-bye.
is huge. We've talked about that so many times
Yeah.
in the podcast of how important that is to a preparedness plan. Emergency funds. So many people are not financially prepared for an emergency.
The statistics will scare
It's
the bejesus
terrifying.
out of you. Yeah.
A good start of readily available cash to have on hand somewhere or in several locations is $500.
Yeah.
That's a good, easy goal that will take you maybe a few months to
Maybe
get there,
it's
maybe
not
a few
easy.
weeks.
That's not easy. It just depends.
Maybe that's your long term.
on what your
that's
situation
okay.
is, but make it a goal.
Yeah,
Make
definitely.
it a goal.
And so then work towards a little more. Get to 1,000, and then if you can, long term, I would love to know that I have 3 to 6 months of funds that I don't have to work. If I lost my job or I was injured,
It's a lot.
that's a ton.
It's a lot. But yeah, me too.
But that would be, I mean, that's a huge long term goal that you really should be looking at. Not even mentioning retirement.
Yeah.
Freaking
I
nightmare.
don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Security, all your goods, all the hard work, all the preparedness, can be gone if you don't have a good security plan. So think about that too. And then skills. Think about the things that you're working on above, like the first aid, you're working on water. These are all things that require skills that
Water
you can
skills.
improve. Yeah, water skill. We haven't talked about that.
No, it's been a while, hasn't it?
So what skills would complement the things that you're doing and storing and stuff like that? Ham radio. Anyone? Ham radio. F you, Bill Nye.
Yeah, science
Ask me
guy.
every time.
Ham radio guy.
A goal of maybe taking 2 or 3 classes for skill development. Like I should probably do self-defense. That would be a great thing for me, but I'm a pussy.
I'll bring you right along for a free class. You just tell me when.
I know. Practice shooting, go to the shooting range.
a good one.
Spend $6 per bullet.
That's a good one.
Anymore.
It kind of goes against your financial ones, but you just got to
Exactly.
do what you got to do.
But really, some practice
Yep.
is a good idea.
I agree.
Learn to fly fish, canning, do some hunting, things like that. Like,
I like it.
look at the skills that will improve the chances of you surviving on your own. Other areas to consider, think about outside of the prepping, just personal, spiritual, physical, financial relationships and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what my
I like the
family went over.
relationships ones because a lot of people don't set goals like that, and I've been
really
doing that the past
don't.
couple of years. And,
I don't.
and I think it's just getting
That can be like inner relationship, like
Yeah.
with your wife and
Exactly.
with your kids.
It's just like
concubines.
I think you get to that like 40-year mark, and you just start thinking about stuff like that. You're like, oh man, I need to be better.
It's true.
At all of these
I know.
things.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. I'm like, I am not a romantic person. I need
Oh
to
yeah,
be
I'm not either. Yeah.
Because that's what life's all about.
Exactly.
Honey, you're the most important to me.
You're so cute and cool.
Real quick, I just want to talk about the obstacles that tend to get in the way of
Oh.
most goals.
This is a good one to talk about because
So, because these all pop up.
think
and
about these.
They will.
You guys
There's
think
things
about them.
out there to stop your goals.
Yeah.
One of them is putting your goals off until someday. And that is probably my number one.
Dude, this one, this hits home.
Yeah.
So Cam and I right now, both of us are reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And so I read this first last year, and there was a quote in there that like just kicked me right in the nuts when I read it because it pertains directly to this. And this is like the genius of Marcus Aurelius. He said, you could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow.
Yeah, I did.
Like how simple is thinking about that? And I do this all
Such
the
a
time.
simple saying.
I know.
But like,
I do this all the time. It's like,
you too.
I could start this thing that will make me better, that will make me a better person, or that will lead to better things in my life. But I say, okay, I'm going to start that Monday.
All the time.
I'm such an
Do it all the
idiot.
time.
Why do you do that? No,
Right.
just do it today.
I know.
You might not be alive tomorrow. At least you ended your last day
trying
doing
to
something
achieve
better.
something to make you
Yeah.
better.
So man, that quote just like literally, you're just like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Since
But-
someday
yeah,
never
someday.
appears to be on the calendar.
Exactly.
You'll
It's so
never
true. Oh.
accomplish it. So, if a goal is important to you, create a timeline. We talked about that. Even if
Yep.
you can't start working on it today, at least tell yourself that when you can tackle it, you need to make a deadline. You need to
Yep.
make. You need to just get at it.
Start it today.
Because I was just thinking about that this week. I was like, first of the year, Sunday, and I'm like, Monday, I'm starting to work out. And then I had to work on some charts, and I got the kids to bed, and I'm like, I'm tired. I want to start it on Tuesday.
Yep.
And then I'm like,
exactly.
well, I'm halfway in the week. I might as well start at the first of next week
it's
to keep on a
everybody does it.
routine. It's
Everybody
crazy.
does it.
Gets in the way.
But you just can't. You have to just do it today.
Yeah. So stop putting them off. Get
Yeah.
it done. Just start. No matter what. Right now. Just stop the podcast. Start your goal.
Exactly. Exactly.
Waiting to take action until you feel ready. That goes along with that. Like
100%.
I'm not ready to commit to this.
Yep.
And so I'm not going to do it. And that's like negative thinking. You don't feel you're ready. You don't
Yep.
feel like you have the ability to do it now. You won't ever.
Nope.
If you think you're going to feel ready to do
It'll
that.
never be the right time to start reading a book that's super hard, or
Super true.
never be the right time to go to the gym because you're out of shape. Like
Yeah.
you
There's
just
never
have
a
to
good
go.
time. You just gotta do it.
You just have to
You're
go.
setting the goal because you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And so don't put
Yeah.
it off.
If it's important enough to set the goal, it's important enough to just start it.
Jump in there.
Just jump in it.
Yeah. The other thing, another one is not anticipating the tough times or underestimating the work involved.
Sure.
That's that workout one for me. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to run a mile every day. I don't anticipate being tired at night, which I am every single night.
Yep.
I'm not anticipating my wife having a schedule that, she's like, can you put the kids to bed? And that's usually when I try and run. Or you've
Yeah.
got to, that's when it goes back to that planning. You've got to plan you got to anticipate these things getting in
Yeah.
the way and how you're going to counter those things.
Yep.
Or you'll get derailed and you'll stop and you'll never go back.
Yep. And does that involve like changing your schedule like almost dramatically to make
really
it work?
do.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of like, I felt the same thing when I started doing jujitsu. I'm like, there's no way on God's green earth I'm going to go 3 days a week.
That was 100%
I have-
my
I
reason.
have
I'm
too
like, I
much
can't
shit
commit to
do.
that.
But once you do it, you're just like, oh, everybody has the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same amount of hard things to do. You just have to schedule around it.
It's true.
And
You
so,
just have to plan it.
And that's the only thing you can do. Say, I'm sorry, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. This is good for me. This is, important to me. I'm going to do it. And
Exactly.
so it's so hard though. It's
It is-
not
it
easy.
is really hard.
It's not easy.
And then the next one is not making your goal a priority, planning for a dedicated time to achieving it. So you're not making it part of your life. You set the goal, then you put it aside and you go about your regular routine, just driving to work every day and not thinking twice about what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's so easy.
Oh
and
my gosh, yeah.
Like I was thinking about that at the end of the year. I'm just coasting through life. Like I'm not trying to achieve or make myself better.
Yeah.
It's not like I am trying to do better and be good at work, but that's it. And
Yeah.
it's like I'm not really pushing myself.
Dude, I feel that. I felt that
and
this
it gets
year.
so annoying.
I felt that this year because I've wanted to for a really long time. For like 2 or 3 years, I've been thinking about, I want to do like a book club or a group where I can get together with some guys, discuss some really interesting books, and like make myself read different types of books, make myself think about the things that I'm reading and actually have to have a discussion about it and make myself better and talk to more people because there's another thing. So I'm like, this year I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm just going to send the text to Cam right now.
Yeah.
Because I've been thinking about it for 2 years and I haven't done it.
And I was like, this is not at all comfortable for me. Like this is so out of my comfort zone.
And I
but
knew
I'm
it
like,
would be.
And yeah, and I was like, that's perfect. Like I need to do something. And I was telling my wife after Kobe had sent me that, I was like, man, this is just not me and not something I've ever wanted to do. But at the same time, I'm like, I do want to read more.
Yeah.
And I do want to like, the thing I miss about school is having a deadline of where I had to like report back to what I'd learned.
Yes.
And I'm like, I want to do that now. And so this is a great opportunity. And so you have to do those things.
You have to.
If you don't make it a priority or make a reason for doing it, like it's just going to fall
And that's
off.
that actually comes back to another aspect we'll talk about later is like telling other people
I think
what your
it's-
goals are.
you
And that was
have
kind
to.
of this.
You have to.
That was kind of that thing. It's like I had to text Cam. I had to like get a couple guys together and say, we're doing this, you guys. And now it's like I'm stuck in it. Now we have to do it.
I'm excited to do it.
I'm excited too.
I wasn't when you sent it. I'm like,
I'm sure.
I wanted to back out of this so bad and just say I don't have time for it. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I do have time for it.
Everybody does.
I want to
Yeah.
read more. And I mean, I've been listening to books when I go to and from work, and I'm like, this is a good opportunity to just talk about what I read. Maybe they got something out of it different than
Yeah.
I did. It's like, this is awesome. This is like well, we'll see.
But again, it comes down to just like making it a priority and just like doing
Pull
it
the
now.
trigger on it,
Pull the
which
trigger.
is awesome.
Pull the trigger now. You know,
So-
you never know what might happen. It's like you do. Like we pulled the trigger on this podcast like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
On a whim. We
Yeah,
just did
it's
it.
true.
Like you don't know what that one little moment of just like going at it will like do 5 years down the road. Right. And so
Yeah, do those
Just
things that
do
you
it.
want to do that you've thought about doing. Like,
Oh, my
just jump
gosh.
in it. Don't
Yes.
think you're not going to be ready for it
No,
ever.
no.
So just start doing it.
It's
We were
gonna
not
suck.
ready, and nor are we ever ready
No.
for a podcast.
no. Yet here
I know
we are.
I'm not.
Yet here we are.
The other thing that happens a lot is giving up before you see results. And I see this in a lot of things. I see it in medicine a lot. Like people, they're like, I want to lose weight. And we talk about a plan, and sometimes medication started, or, they have depression, anxiety, and they're like, I really want to try. I'm at this point that I want to take a medication to kind of get things under control. And they give it like 2 weeks and they quit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't, like, you have not given it any time to work, and that goes along with like all of your goals. Like, if you haven't like strained and pushed yourself and tried, and it may take months or years to see a difference.
For
but
sure.
Don't give up. Like, and I remember in high school, my brother and I always like quote it, "Nagun nagu." Have you ever heard that?
The what?
Never give up. Never give up.
No.
So we're always like "Nagun nagu."
Nagun nagu. Yeah, I like that.
But really, there's no way you're ever going to see the results of a goal or achieve a goal if you give up super early.
Dude.
If you don't see the results right away. And that sucks. We live in a time where we're impatient. We want to see change. We want to see results. We want to see the outcome. And you're not going to with a lot of goals. It's going to take time.
So true. And like, I know I keep coming back to jiu-jitsu on this.
I'm sure that's a huge,
But
like,
I tell this to like all the new white belts that come in. I'm like, look, this is gonna suck like royally for 3 to 6 months. But after that, dude, you're gonna be so happy you stuck through those 6 months because it changes everything after that. And you're gonna get addicted, and you're gonna see all these great things happening with your body and all these other things in your mind. So it's gonna suck for 6 months, bro. You're not gonna see a lot of like, you're not gonna like go up levels and levels and levels. It's just gonna be these tiny little things, and all of a sudden things click together and it becomes a different thing. But that's just not just related to jiu-jitsu. It's so
just
many
everything.
other things, right? So yeah, I 100%.
skill learning and doing.
Yep.
Yeah. Exercising is hugely frustrating.
Yes, dieting and exercising.
Something like you skip a day from running and you're like, I felt like I went back 2 years. Like,
Yeah, man.
why am I? And that's probably the thing that turns me off from it the most.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting up and it's getting easier, and and then you miss a few and you're like, okay, well, it hasn't made any difference. I'm done.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't give up.
Don't give up.
You've really got to, that goal has got to be your priority, one of your priorities, and to stick with it. And then the other thing, and the last thing is we set our sights too high on that goal. Like something that's just, it's not, like, I know I've just been saying you're never going to be ready for something, but you're never going to know if you don't try.
Yep.
And sometimes we set things too high. Like, I want to get $1 million this year, but you don't have a good plan. And not saying you can't do it, but like it's too high. Like,
be a little
set
more
a smaller goal. Like,
realistic.
I want to earn $10,000 more this year. That's doable.
That's
and that's
definitely doable.
like there's sacrifices you got to make, and there's things that you're going to have to do that are out of your comfort zone and harder. But yeah, don't jump way too far ahead.
Yeah.
That goes back to those small short-term goals and medium-term goals. So
I love that section. That's probably my favorite section in this whole podcast because I think it really relates to
I
a
see
lot
what
of
I
things.
want. It's like clear up there.
Yeah. This whole thing, like this stuff you were just talking about, all these things that come in the way of stopping you from continuing with your goals, they're big. And with preppers, it's the same. It's even more prevalent, I think, because you start saving water and you get to a certain point and you're like, I'm not using this water. I might not ever use this water.
So
you're
true.
like, why am I doing this? And you have to remind yourself, right? And you got to continue going because it really is worth it.
Prepping's very much that way.
Yeah,
huh? You're
prepping
just
is
like,
very much
this
that way.
sucks.
So after we talk about those things, how do we continue to make these goals a priority? How do we track our progress? How do we keep interest? How do we keep reminding ourselves of the things that we want to do about these goals? This is where, for me, goals and keeping goals becomes very, very difficult because right now
this is where goals end for me.
I'm amped up. It's January 1st. I've set these goals. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be such a badass this year.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is a couple of weeks go by and that feeling starts to fade.
Yeah.
So then you have
start falling back into that rut, and then you're like, there we go.
Yep, you're right back into that rut.
And then it's December. You're like, what happened?
Yep. So I found some statistics that are just insane. 9% of people successfully keep their New Year's resolutions.
9%.
9 out of 100.
Wow.
Okay, that's 1 out of 10 basically actually keep them, which is bonkers.
I believe it.
23% quit by the end of the first week.
Wow.
You're almost to the quitting point. We're on January 5th. You've got 2 more days, y'all. Make it past that 23%. At least
first
get
week.
the first week.
Wow.
That's a quarter of all people. 35% of people attribute
So you're not alone.
No.
You're not alone.
You're not the only one.
These goals falling apart.
35% of people attribute losing motivation as the top reason for giving up.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
And I 100% agree. So how do we keep motivated? How do we stay on track? How do we keep reminding ourselves about our goals and
such a massive part.
Their
probably the
benefits.
most important part.
There's a billion different ways to do this. I'm not going to say any of these are going to work for you. I've used some of these. They've worked for me. I haven't used all of them. But we're going to go
think
over.
about it. You have to have a way to keep it going.
You do. You 100%. So the first thing is, and I can tell you 100% this one works, write down your goals.
Yeah.
It's night and day. You can't just get this goal up in your brain box and say, okay, I'm good. Let's go. That's not going to work. A study actually showed that if you write down your goals and you describe them, you're going to 1.2 to 1.4 times more likely to successfully accomplish them.
Makes sense.
It's science right now, y'all. So
science.
It's science.
I believe in science.
So writing things down actually happens on 2 levels. You got the external storage and you have encoding. External storage, it's pretty obvious. You're storing the information contained in your goal in a location, like a piece of paper or a file or something like that. It's really easy to access and review at any time. You can post that paper in your office, on your refrigerator. I actually have mine in my bathroom.
That's where, because I wrote all mine down last year and I put them in my drawer next to my bed. Yeah. And I haven't opened that drawer.
Haven't opened that drawer.
I did. I opened it and found that goal sheet.
You did now.
What's this?
I have mine on a sheet and I pin it up on the wall, like behind the bathroom door.
You have to have it visible.
So it's there when I get out of the shower. Yeah. So anyways, but when you actually write it down too, there's this thing called encoding, right? And it basically, there's a greater chance of you remembering it. So just write them down. I think it's actually really, really important, and I know that it works. I've done it for the past 3 years. It has been a huge
this down.
Write this down. Exactly. Number 2 is daily tracking. Find a way to track small incremental steps towards a larger goal and track those steps daily. This is nice for some people. Some people like to see those little steps happening all the time. They like to check something off every single day. Look, I'm doing stuff. I'm getting towards my goal. So this really, it helps you feel like you're constantly making strides towards that end goal. So
I think most of the apps allow this.
Yes.
Like if you really want to track your those teeny tiny little increments.
Yep. So that is a good one. Number 3 is goal journaling. This one can be intimidating, and I've been wanting to do this for 2 or 3 years. Again, I didn't pull the trigger this year. I pulled the trigger. I'm going to do a weekly goal journal. It sounds dumb. Sounds idiotic, but apparently it's very useful.
There's no reason why you couldn't just add this to your daily journal.
No. Yeah, and I don't do a daily journal, and that's my problem. I don't do any
just journaling in general. I used to be really good at it.
Yeah.
I used to be really good at a lot of things. Now I'm in that rut. Yeah. I've been coasting along.
Exactly. This is just a great way to continue to work out and to think about your goals. It uses that process again of encoding to help you stick to the goal because you're writing about it every day. You're writing about how things have been going, what it's looking like, what you're doing. You know what I mean?
What you doing, honey? I'm encoding goals.
Encoding in my journal. You can don't need no journal. Keep them all in my damn brain box.
I'm remembering it all right here.
Shut up. I'm encoding.
I'm trying not to remember this. Get out.
Put your shirt back on. I'm encoding. All right. I ain't got time.
Wait,
for that,
keep
right?
it all for a minute.
I'm gonna code something else.
I'm coding.
Code that. It helps you, like, you can write down your frustrations with your goals. You can write down your wins. You can help sort out priorities and things like that. So, and you don't have to do this every day. And I'm not doing it every day because, again, I'm starting slow. But goal journaling is a good way to do it.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I was talking to my son about journaling, and I was looking back at when I did journal, and a lot of it was my frustrations.
Yeah.
Just like the things that frustrated me, the things that were getting in the way, but it helped. I remember being better with like overcoming those things. If I wrote them down, I saw what was in my way, and so I think that's even if it is like a little negative journal,
get them out of your brain.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It helps. Number 4 is weekly, daily to-do lists, getting organized. I love lists. I love getting organized. I do too. I'm a huge list person, especially with goals. I like to use a pad and pen, but you can use an app. You can use your phone for notes and stuff. It's just a great way to stay on task, keep motivated, getting organized in any way you can. It just makes everything seem easier and more enjoyable when it's organized.
I think it's weird. Like, I think we're in that weird transition of like what we knew, what we grew up with, of like paper, pen.
Yeah.
I miss that stuff.
I do
and
too.
I still go back to it a lot. But our world's so integrated in like digital, so it's like, ugh.
You kind of want to use both.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
And
I think you have to. Like,
I think
honestly,
you have to as well. Yeah, you got these phones with you all the time. Why not utilize
I don't know
that?
why. We have like millions of apps, and it's clean cut, and it's very organized, but I still like feel like it doesn't encode.
It's not the same as writing it down on paper.
It isn't. I don't know why.
I agree. Number 5 is a goal buddy. Look, this one works. 100% this one works. I've been using this, and I usually just use my wife. But sharing goals with a friend.
It works with, it has for everything,
Yes. It gives you someone who knows what your goals are and makes you feel accountable. Because
the accountable thing, yeah.
If you don't tell anybody your goals, you're not accountable to anything.
Right.
They could be anything, but nobody knows. You can change them in your head. You can make yourself believe I didn't make that goal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to share it with somebody. It keeps you accountable, and it can be awkward. If you don't have a wife or a husband to do that with, it could be awkward. But you could find a good friend that you could share it with. I should probably share mine with Cam, but again, it's awkward. I don't want to share all my goals with Cam.
Right now.
I want to code 10 times a day.
I want to uncode your goals.
Here we go.
It is awkward, and I'm a very private person, so it's like, some of those goals.
Yeah, you don't want to.
It's not like I have like those weird private goals.
Right.
Stop touching yourself twice.
I only touch myself twice a day.
I want to go to once a day.
I only touch myself once a day.
Keep my hands out of my pants 2 times a day.
Oh, I got to get my hands out of my pants right now. That's my goal.
Kobe, I thought I'd let you know. I got my hand in my pants 3 times a day. How can I do better?
What do I got to do, buddy?
But it's true. I mean, that's like in medicine. It's like people follow up for that reason because they have to be accountable.
Yeah.
For their actions to their provider. So
exactly.
And everything.
So that goal buddy can like help give you encouragement. They can give you like whatever practical support you might need to help get these goals, and they can give you advice when it sucks and you're just like, I can't keep my hands out of my pants. What do I do?
How do I do it? Come on, hands off what?
Yeah, take your pants off. Then your hands.
Can't put your hands in there. No pants.
Think about it, buddy.
Thanks for calling. See you.
See you later. I'm gonna go eat some chips. So that a goal buddy is a great way to help out there. Number 6, do you respond well to rewards? Many people do. A reward system is a great way to help keep you rolling. Yeah. All right, if you meet like certain milestones on your goal path, you get a little reward.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do this. I have a hard time doing this.
Do you?
I don't feel like I can reward myself.
I don't feel like I deserve it type thing. Yeah.
One extra hand in my pants because I did good this week.
I didn't touch my ding dong all day. I'm going to touch my ding dong as a reward.
Sunday I get it 3 times.
But you can give yourself a steak dinner if you hit a milestone with like a financial milestone.
It's a good idea.
Or
you got to have
like
a good reward that's like
Yeah.
something that's not like already there.
Yeah.
Get an extra bowl of cereal or some stupid crap like that.
Yeah, you got to be more. But it could be really, really small stuff if it's like a daily thing. Like some people say, like, I ran today, so I'm going to reward myself with a soda or something. You know what I mean? Like whatever that might be. And I'm not saying you should be drinking soda. I'm just saying it's a way to reward yourself. Some people, that works. All right. Number 7 is inspiration/motivational content. For me, this one works fantastically. Sometimes you just need a dude like Jocko yelling at you on Instagram to get off your ass. Right? Some people just need that. A good way to continue to get like constant motivation and inspirational thing is to follow content creators that make that type of content. Also, reading self-help books or similar books. It just gives you that regular interval of boost of motivation to continue to stay on track. Because a lot of people just
Or make you feel like a piece of trash.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you have to get past.
I know, yeah. That discipline is very hard for people. So getting a regular dose of motivation helps, right?
Yeah.
So there's several content creators on Instagram that I follow to kind of get that daily little nudge. And, and I'm trying to do better with reading self-help and nonfiction books. So it's a good thing to do. Motivational content, inspirational content.
Motivational content for touchers.
For touchers, yeah.
Did you touch today? Good job.
Good job, you non-toucher.
Stay out of that pants.
Stay out of your pants, boy. Number 8, reevaluate if needed. If things change along your goal journey, make the adjustments. It's okay to adjust. You know what I mean? Don't continue to work towards something that doesn't make sense just because you made the goal. Things are going to change.
Or one of these things aren't working for you. Like, switch it up. Use another reward system or something.
Exactly. The last one I'm going to talk about, well, I'm not really going to talk about them. Our websites are apps. There's a million of them.
There's so many.
And Cam's going to talk about a few of them now.
Yeah. Real basic. I mean, there's a couple that I've used, and lately I downloaded several that do a lot of the same things just to see which ones I liked and why I liked them. One that Kobe shared with me was Habit.
Is that the same Habit, or mine's Habit Tracker? It says Habit, but maybe Habit Tracker.
Yeah, it is Habit Tracker.
Okay.
You can do a lot with the free part of it. That's what I liked about it. You can do 5 habits for free, and
you can actually do more than that.
I think it's 5 for free, isn't it?
No, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Well, that's too many. Don't touch tomorrow. Don't touch today. Don't touch.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, don't touch on Monday. Don't touch on Tuesday. Don't. So I don't know if that's like an older version or something.
You didn't. Okay, it's not a trial that you're on or anything.
I don't think so. Maybe.
But the thing I like about it, and I'm big on the apps that allow you to buy it for a lifetime.
Yes,
man, the subscriptions get on my nerves.
I agree.
And I understand you're developing, you're continuing working on it, and that's fueling somebody's income. But at the same time, it pisses me off.
I agree.
So Habit does have the ability for $6 lifetime. That's
really?
That's nice.
Oh, that's way nice.
So you don't have to. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Accomplish is another. It's really organized. It asks questions specifically to kind of customize your goals based on how active you are and how much of a procrastinator you are and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So Accomplish is an app that allows you to build your goals based on where you sit right now.
I like that.
That one also is a forever. It's a little more expensive, $9, but it's forever. You don't have to worry about a stupid subscription. Or they'll screw you in the long run, which I have a couple apps I loved. I paid for them. 3 years down the road, they force you into a yearly $25. That pisses me off.
Messed up.
Yeah. Day one, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
One of my favorite journaling apps, which they have a lot to offer for free, but that one.
The 5-minute journal did that to me too.
I love it.
I had the 5-minute journal and they switched over, and so I just deleted it. I'm
yeah,
screw you guys.
I kind of, it really did not sit
and it
well
pissed
with
me off because I had a whole bunch of stuff on there, and it would give me last year on this day, you took this photo and you did this thing. I loved it.
Yeah.
But then they went to a subscription.
Yeah, and they force you from, I'm like, don't grandfather me in. Give me something. So anyways, those are 2 that you can buy straight out and not have to worry about, hopefully. Strides is another one I kind of like. It has a nice reminder system and tracking. You can see graphs. Some people love to see the graphs. You know, if they're running 6 miles and it shows and tracks it. That's pretty cool. Strides does that. Asana is another one that I kind of liked the setup on this one, and it's mostly free for all that you need.
That's
so you can check that one.
That's an app we've used to work before. It's
it's a pretty common company or business based. And then if you want to just make it even more simple, I use Google Tasks a lot, and the reason I like Google Tasks is because I use Gmail, and the hospital I use actually uses Gmail. But when you're in email, there's tabs over on the right, and you can click and you can see your tasks on the right column. So you're always seeing them because you're checking your email all the time.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about it. Microsoft also has To Do, and that one's easy to pop up and show. Like Microsoft's great at pop-ups.
Yeah, they like them.
Yeah. Productive is another one that also kind of builds and structures motivation and focus plan based on what you do, but it does have that crappy $7 a month.
$7 a month.
So
yeah.
I probably wouldn't do that one. Anyways, those are a few that I've used that I
Nice.
liked. And there's a lot of free ones, but yeah, Habit, Accomplish, Asana, To Do for Microsoft, and Tasks are really great options.
Nice. I like that.
Anyways, that's it.
That's it. That's goals for preppers.
I know it's a lot, and you're probably like, these guys don't know what we're talking about, and you're right. But it's a goal for me to sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think you accomplished it. I felt like you knew what you were saying. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Thought it was great.
I don't know until.
Yeah, no, guys. Let us know. Like, what goals are you trying to do this year, especially in the prepping space? But we want to hear about all.
Share
of them.
it
Let
with
us be
us.
your goal buddy.
Yeah.
We'll be your goal buddy for sure. I think it's a great thing at the beginning of the year to think about, especially as preppers. There's a lot to do, like we said, with preparedness.
So much to do.
Just take some time and make some goals and do it in a way that will actually be effective.
For sure.
Right? We want you to be more
Pace yourself.
prepared. Yeah. Subscribe to every Casual Prepper's social media that we
Everything,
possibly
everywhere
can.
you can.
That is a great goal. I want
Right.
you all to put that down right now at the top of your list. Today's podcast is brought to you by TacPack, the only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use code Casual Preppers and get a free $70 machine-made part from Next Level Armament. That's a beautiful deal. And if you're not doing it, you're
Goal,
dumb.
free stuff.
Go. I like free things. I like to support the podcast.
Achieve it right off.
Get it.
Yeah.
So that is go to tacpack.com, use our code Casual Preppers.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
I'm going to do this real quick.
Okay.
Many people suffer from migraines,
Yeah.
headaches as well. And so here's a few natural remedies. I think we might have talked about it before, but I'm going to go over it again. And some of them you probably heard, and there's some data that kind of supports not using them. Big things on migraines and headaches: lack of sleep, dehydration, caffeine withdrawal. So caffeine withdrawal is a little tricky to kind of determine exactly how much you're suffering from that. They found mostly like people that use upwards of 400 milligrams tend to have the withdrawals. That's a lot of caffeine. 160, 200, you could, and it can trigger, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. Not to say you should be drinking caffeine all the time. Alcohol use, obviously, starves your brain, oxygen. Nutrient deficiency, maybe you eat like trash all the time.
Yeah.
Good chance that's causing your headaches. And then undereating, maybe you're starving yourself, trying to lose weight. That's going to cause headaches. Spouse desire to have sex, and you know, that triggers her headaches.
Almost
I don't
always.
get it. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
it's weird.
So, you know, maybe don't ask for it so often.
Yeah, that's a good idea. New Year's resolution.
So feverfew is a flowering herb that looks like a daisy. I'm not saying eat it out of the field, but you can buy it, and it has some improvements in headaches over placebo. So it's an option if you wanted to try it.
I'm
There
growing
actually
field
is
of
some-
Feverview.
Yeah.
Keep getting them headaches.
You got fevers, it doesn't help dying.
Heck no.
Magnesium has probably some of the best data to help with headaches.
Magnesium oxide, huh? I think that's what
Supplementation.
I take is magnesium
Yeah,
oxide. but
may
that's
help
like the
prevent
cheapest one.
migraine with aura, and it may prevent menstrual migraine. So that's a good one.
I said magnesium is hard because they always say like there's like 20 different types of magnesium.
So many.
And like the good ones that are like so expensive.
They're super expensive. Magnesium oxide, though, does have a lot of, and cramps and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
look into magnesium. I'm not saying specifically how much or whatever,
Yeah.
but look into it because it does have good data for migraines.
The more I hear about magnesium, man, it's like so important.
Yeah, it says 2021 study said 500 milligrams of magnesium twice a day for 8 weeks was effective, as effective as valproic acid, which is used for it's a seizure
Migraine.
medication to prevent migraines. Anyways, so and way less side effects. Magnesium from foods. You can get that from almonds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, Brazil nuts, cashews, peanut butter, oatmeal, eggs, milk. So-
These nuts.
yeah,
These
and
nuts.
these nuts. According to the American Migraine Foundation.
Migraine Foundation.
Migraine Foundation. Migraine Foundation. Wheat's the best thing you can have.
Get some. Eat it. Grind it.
About a third of people with migraines reported dehydration as a migraine trigger, which I was talking about. Prevent dehydration, but drink plenty of water and get some exercise. Butterbur is another thing that a lot of people
Don't they
use.
drink that in Harry Potter? Butterbeer?
Do they? I don't know.
Butterbur?
But it is. It has poor results and it's hepatotoxic, so you gotta not. That one's not recommended.
Don't like no hip.
Peppermint oil is another option that people, really like and believe can help. It has
Junior Mint's just as good.
Yep.
Does that work?
Yep. Rub a candy cane in your nose.
I got 2 candy canes on my. I ain't never gonna get no migraine.
You get an migraine, you just put
You can lick the ends of it. And got it up your nose.
got the loop.
Yeah.
And push it up in your nose.
Bring it right inside. Science, medicine,
Lavender
biology.
oil has a lot of different uses. People use it for sleep. It does have some weak studies showing that it has some help with migraines. Up to you. It's a little bit potent smelling to me.
Yeah, it is.
But it has some use. Coenzyme CoQ10, coenzyme Q10, actually does have some pretty good studies showing that it's a powerful antioxidant and it does help with migraine prevention. The studies show that a study showed 80 people diagnosed with migraines demonstrated taking 100 milligrams of CoQ10 per day reduced migraine frequency, severity, and length. The other 2021 review included 6 studies found that the treatment of 30 to 800.
Yikers!
I wouldn't go quite that.
That's
high.
That's not a cheap
No,
supplement
it's not.
either.
So, of CoQ10 per day was effective at reducing migraine frequency and duration. So, several studies have shown that it does help. I'm not telling you what dose. You go look that up.
Okay.
Ginger is a good one because it helps with nausea and it has some data supporting a little bit of migraine help. Vitamin B2. So most often people just take a vitamin B complex, and it does show some good results in reducing the frequency of migraines. People do overdose on vitamin B quite often, and it screws with them.
Oh, really?
Rashes and different nerve symptoms. So you got to be careful with that. Just make sure you're taking what, if one helps, 15 won't help better.
It's not gonna do it.
Yeah. And then acupuncture and massage do have good data behind them too. So if you're going to have a prepper group, find somebody that can do acupuncture.
Or
That's a good
massages.
idea. A massage.
Massage.
A massage.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's
there's
good.
some like basic things to help with migraines if you don't have the medications or prescriptions. There's some natural things that can help. Try them. See
I
what
like that.
happens. I don't know. It's not medical advice.
None of this is.
Yeah, so.
This is not goal advice. This is not medical advice. We're
Goal
not.
advice is safe. You can try any of that.
Okay, you can try it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys listening. Again, thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, hit the freaking subscribe
Seriously,
button.
goal
Takes
number
2 seconds.
1.
What, goal number 1? Is that what you said?
Goal.
Oh, goal.
Goal number 1.
I thought you meant, I said go number 1.
Goal number 1 podcast.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Stay survived.